So I'm going to try this again. I tried this video before, but I was having trouble with some of the audio, so I'm going to try this again. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start, we're going to create a vase with flowers. So we're going to start kind of in the middle of the paper, make a straight line across. Now you're going to want to do everything for this with pencil. So I'm going to press down so it shows up a little bit, because we have to do pencil first because we're going to erase a lot of stuff. Alright, so a little line across, leave some room on the edges. Then we're going to come in both sides, like that. Get that a little dark so you see it. And then we're going to make a nice circle shape down the bottom. Just like that. So that creates the shape of the vase, and you can make the vase any shape you want. That's a good shape to start. So, like I said, we're going to be erasing a lot of parts, so don't press down too hard as you're going. So, all right, next part we're going to fill up in here. And we're just going to make little circles about the size of your pinky, tip of your pinky, and we're going to spread them out. These are going to be the insides of our flower. So we just spread a bunch out like that. And then the shape we're going to do, here, so if this is the inside of the flower there, we're going to do like a shape like that. Okay, where it's pointed on both ends, a leaf shape, or you can also do a teardrop shape like that. It's rounded on the edge and pointed on the bottom. And what you do is you attach it to the little circle in the center like that. Both sides. And we're going to do opposite sides like that, and it makes flowers. So I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so I'm going to start in the center here, and what I'm going to do is make a nice big one like that, and I always do the opposite side. I always do one side, then the opposite side, and also it's good to count too. So I've got 4, and then I'm going to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. That's a pretty big one. So you can make them different sizes if you want. I'm going to make a rounded one here, maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, so make sure you do the upside. Don't worry about crisscrossing. It's actually fine to crisscross. Again, you want to do it light. If you go off the page, that's okay. You just want to do it lightly because you're going to erase it later. So, I'll do another rounded one here. So basically, what we're doing is any one that's on top is going to be decided later which ones you want to put on top and which ones you want to put on the bottom. And it's going to get very confusing, but that's okay. As you're going, you can kind of figure out which parts you want on top of them, which on the bottom. You'll see that more a little bit later as we go along. Okay. So we're going to do, let's do something like that. And this one's going to come off the paper. So it's okay. And these don't have to be perfect. Vangogh wasn't perfect when he was making his, so. Let's do another one. Here, let's do this rounded one. again, it's starting to fill up there a little bit more. Let's do another pointed one. And again, you can do more than 8 points if you want. It just gets really complex at that point. And again, don't worry about crisscrossing for now. It'll all clear out later. So I got another one here. Make this a round one. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, just because I know I'm going to put it in the back and I don't really need to make it too big, otherwise you won't really be able to see much of the petals. That one's going to be behind, and then this one up here, it's kind of hard to see because of the glare, but make that one rounded too. Okay, so next thing you want to do is maybe do some little accent lines here. So if I want to make my vase look a little three-dimensional, if you do a little curved line there, and then you can do some other parallel curved lines down here. Just make sure it curves all about the same amount of curve. You don't want one to be, really droopy and then one to be small, because it'll make the surface of your vase look a little odd. Okay, so now you're going to need to get a marker or a pen. I'm just going to use a Sharpie marker. Ballpoint pen is fine, any type of gel pen or really whatever you have. If you don't have that, if you want to do crayon, that's fine too. Just something that's going to be a little bit darker than the pencil, but whatever you have at home works. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start back at my first one, and now I'm going to trace it, and just be really careful that the first one's the easiest, but just be really careful you're looking for the correct lines. And again, if you're off a little bit, that's fine, because you're going to do a lot of erasing. So as you can see, it's starting to stand out a little bit. And this one's kind of off a little bit, so I'll fix that. Oh, that's this one. Okay, so now that I've got my first one, I have to decide which is my next one. So this first one's going to be the one that's on top. So really we're talking about overlapping. So my next one is going to be under this one, but on top of the other flowers that I have. So I'm going to choose this one right here. And again, because I made these pretty large, it works. Now, when I get to where I've already traced, I'm going to jump over that petal, just like that. I'll keep that one in the space. And here's another one that's going to go. I'm going to jump over it. There's a little line right in there. Comes around. There's a little line right there. And it picks up right there. So basically what it's doing is it's looking like this one. First one I did is overlapping the second one. And again, if you make a mistake, it's okay. Because a lot of Vangogh's lines and things also intersected and crisscrossed, so that's alright. So this one comes up and then picks up over here. This side jumps over and goes down there. So again, that one looks like it shows up really well. Let's do this one over here. It's good to kind of switch sides, so it doesn't look like it's all overlapped over onto one side or not. But again, you can do it any way you want. Always good to get rid of your pencil marks too. I tell kids that all the time. Get rid of your pencil marks, because if you have something that is left in pencil, a lot of times, if it's not a pencil drawing with shading and all that, it really looks unfinished. So we're trying to be like real artists, so we want to make it look like we know what we're doing. So it's always a good practice to do it. It's not, you don't have to, but it's a good practice. Okay, so at this point, I have to decide, do I want to start erasing some lines that are inside what I already have, or do I want to leave them? I'm just going to leave them and erase stuff at the end. So you can kind of erase as you go. It's entirely up to you. Let's do this big guy up here. If it's easier for you to erase as you're going along, that's fine. And again, if you find any ideas that maybe are a little different, or something inspires you in a different way, and you want to take what we're doing here and kind of make it your own, that's fine. It's entirely up to you. I'm trying to go pretty slow with this so you can see it as it unfolds. Normally I'd go a little bit quicker, but for the purpose of demonstration, I'm just going to go really slow with it, because you want to see where I jump over the other lines. Okay, so this one goes through, comes out, and you notice there's a little part right here. Okay, then it comes over, still underneath, and then it picks up some lines right there. So it gets a little tricky in here. You really want to have a good eye. This is great practice. Really trains your eye what to do. This one's got a little line right in there. It's hiding. And the more you do this type of stuff, the better trained you get. And this one, this petal right in here, is under everything except for that one little line right there. So if you decide that you're going to color a little bit later and everything, that gets a little tricky too, because you really want to find out where your lines are. And again, just take some extra time to look over things, make sure you don't forget any petals. But now that it's starting to get really full, it does get a little bit confusing, but at the same time, the viewer, whoever's looking at it, they won't notice if you goof up either. So that's okay. I always encourage people to use the edges of their paper to have it go all the way to the edge. So nice big flowers, nice big petals. Really use your space that you have. Okay, so that petal under there, or that center of the petals kind of under one of the other petals there. So start down here, come up, make sure nothing's underneath. This one is this way, a little line there, everything else underneath. And it's okay to have your lines go over the baseline here, because that will add to the illusion of it being three-dimensional. In fact, we encourage it. And you notice we don't have any stems because the flower vase is really full. So you're not going to see any stems, but feel free to add different types of flowers. You can have different grasses and stuff coming out. I don't know what the technical name for them are, but I don't know a lot about different kinds of flowers, but just use the shapes that you already know of. Makes it a lot easier. This line going there. This one's behind everything, so this is a little tricky one. Make sure I'm not goofing it up here. I think I got them all. And again, once you get, so I filled it all in, but once I get to this part, if I want to add more I can certainly add more, but they'd all be underneath. But this is pretty full right now. So now what I'm going to do is go over my lines for the vase. Make sure I get all my lines traced. And a lot of times, a lot of kids will ask, can we do handles and things like that? Of course, you can do lots of different things. I'll actually go ahead and add a handle to this. And if you add anything, what I encourage kids to do is go back to pencil, right? So I'm going to add a little handle here. Now I don't want to crisscross my lines, so my handle is going to be on the outside. Right? So let's do like a shape maybe like that. Something nice and easy. I don't really need to make it look three-dimensional. It can just be kind of flat, and then decide how I want to trace it. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just something there. There we go. So now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an eraser. Now if you don't have a big eraser like this, you can use just a little pencil eraser, but you definitely do need an eraser for this project. So if you don't have an eraser, just whatever color you choose, just go ahead and color on top of it. So what I'm going to do is erase all this. Now, you're not going to be able to see a lot on the camera, but I'm just showing you for demonstration. I'm going to erase all lines, every single line that I made. I'm going to erase them. So, alright. And then, once it's all erased, we'll be able to add a little bit of color. So, and that's pretty much it. So I'll just go ahead and erase this, and then you can add color to it.